Baal Shem Tov from Shamayim, from heaven, that the way to be able to stop the long golos, the long exile we are in, is to be able to focus in on the tefillah of Ahavah Rabah. This tefillah, the bracha before Shema, if one is able to be marich in Ahavah Rabah, to be able to elongate, to focus on this bracha, then one has the ability to bring the Geula, both on a universal level as well as on a personal level. And the obvious question is, what is an Ahavah Rabah? What is in this tefillah that has this powerful ability? I'd like to share two approaches with Hashem's help. The first is based on the Lekach V'Lipov. And he says, what is the power of Ahavah Rabah? The power is found in the words Ahavah Rabah, the great love that Hashem has for us. The bracha ends, Habocher Ba'amo Yisrael Ba'ava, who has chosen Klal Yisrael with love. The entire tefillah is pulsating with this love that Hashem has. Hamerachem Rachem Aleinu, the merciful, have mercy on us. And indeed, notes Rav Shor Lekach V'Lipov, Besos Vasemes, that what was the reason why we went into Golus? When Klal Yisrael said in the beginning of Sefer Dvarim, it's quoted, after the Chet HaMeraglim, the sin of the spies, V'tiragnu ba'olechem, you complained in your tents and you said, B'sinas Hashem, with the hatred of Hashem you took us out of Egypt. At that moment, that was when our Golus, our exile, was signed. The moment when Klal Yisrael feels B'sinas Hashem, with Hashem's hatred, that He treats us with hatred, that's a sign of distance, a sign of Golus. Indeed, the very month, which is the month that our Mematim B'Simcha, we lessen our joy, is the month of Av. And the real name of the month of Av is Menachem Av, literally the comforting Father. Because even in this month of distance of Golus, we always have to keep in mind, it's Menachem Av. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is treating us always. Ahavah Rabah Avtanu Hashem Elokeinu. Chemla Gedola V'Yiseirech Hamalta Aleinu. With tremendous amount of love, tremendous amount of affection HaKadosh Baruch Hu has for us. The key of Geula, the key of redemption, is to always remember Menachem Av, that Hashem is a loving Father, and that Hashem loves us. Hashem loves us more than any other human being can possibly love us, as the Chovos Levavos teaches us, and we have to know that Hashem knows our needs beyond anyone else, and takes care of us in a loving, compassionate way. Indeed, the Sichot Chaskot Rashi Meir Zilberberg almost gives us the silent conversation that is found at the moment of the Churban. The Gemara tells us that in general, the Kruvim, those angelic figures on top of the Aron, were only Ma'urim Zobazu, were only embracing one another when Klal Yisrael would do Ritzono Shel Makom, the will of Hashem. And yet, when they didn't, they turned facing the walls. And yet, at the moment of the Churban, at the moment of destruction, Chazal tell us we saw that the Kruvim were Ma'urim Zubazu, they were embracing each other. And Rav Zilberberg gives us that silent conversation that Hashem had at this moment. He says, you may be wondering, how could it be that at the moment of the Churban, the moment of destruction, the angelic figures are embracing? Would this not be the moment of distance? And the answer is, I want you to leave the Beis HaMikdash, leave Yerushalayim, enter into Golus, enter into thousands of years of exile with the following imagery. I love you. I love you, says Hashem, more than you can possibly understand. And throughout all the generations, and through all the bloodshed, and through all the terrible destruction that's going to happen, and all the humiliation, and all the terrible things that will befall the Jewish people, never forget, the Kruvim are embracing each other. Despite all of this tragedy, I have never let my love dissipate at all. This is part of a larger plan that we can't possibly understand. But know and remember and be able to focus in your life on a daily basis. Ahavah Rabah, or Ahavah Solam, depending on your minhag, this tremendous love, this eternal love that Hashem has for us. My friends, if we were to be able to take the message of this love, if we were be able to integrate this into our being, it would enable us to become people, in the language of the Sichos Musar, people of nechbadus, people of greatness, people who realize their intrinsic worth. When I understand that Hashem loves me, when I understand that Hashem believes in me, when I understand that whatever is happening from a beneficent Hashem, who has created me with a certain purpose, who when I say every morning in Moda'ani, Rabba emunasecha, great is your faith, one interpretation is great is Hashem's faith in each and every one of us. It's as if He wakes us up in the morning with a kiss on the forehead. I believe in you. I know you're great. I made you, and therefore you are great. And I love you with an eternal love, and I believe in you. And I know that you can create greatness in this world. And this idea of nechbado, says the Sichos Musar, prevents a person from sinning. How could I, as pashnis, how could I lower myself to sin? To do something against Hashem who believes in me and who loves me so much. And this idea, Rav Wolbe quotes, is really the Petach Rishon, the first aspect that every Jew has to believe in. The Erech Atzmo, the greatness of ourselves, the greatness of where we come from. We need to recognize it, and we need to live it, and we need to live a life of responsibility and awareness. And this will impact us not only ben adam l'makom, between man and Hashem, will impact us ben adam l'atzmo, with ourselves, with our midos, with our values in life, and ben adam l'chaveiro, in our relationship with others. If Hashem loves me and takes care of me, then I understand that Hashem loves everyone else as well and takes care of them. And He wants me to treat them with the respect that they deserve. And if I understand this inherent greatness that I have, then I'm going to realize the inherent power that I have. And I'm going to be careful about my interpersonal relationships with all those around me. Indeed, as the Nefesh HaChaim points out, we speak of a great person as having Yiras Shamayim, literally translated fear of heaven. And he asks, why do we say Yiras Shamayim? Should it not be Yiras Hashem, fear of God? What am I fearing, heaven? That the heavens are going to open up and hail down punishment, lightning bolts? He says, Yiras Shamayim means that I have an understanding and awareness that everything that I do is either building edifices in heaven or destroying them. That I understand that what I'm doing down here creates a spiritual reality. I live with an awareness that I am sent on a mission from above. I live on awareness of responsibility. And I live my life with that understanding, that cognizance, and that sensitivity. Just to share one story, one of my favorites, about the power that we have to build or destroy worlds. The power that we have when we recognize the inherent greatness that's found in each and every one of us, and particularly the power of speech, which has the ability to build worlds. It's a story that Rabbi Chanoch Teller tells. It's a story of a fellow, Wall Street type looking guy, three-piece suit, at the showcase, who's running to catch a subway train. And as he's running down the stairs, we can all imagine the scene, the smell, the noise. There's a beggar sitting on the step saying, with a tin can, pencils for a quarter, pencils for a quarter. The fellow reaches into his pocket and flips the guy a quarter. And continues on. And the fellow says, Mister, you forgot your pencil. So he runs back up, gets his pencil, and goes on. Fast forward a few years, the same fellow, now has a little bit more time, catching a subway train. And he goes into one of the concession stands to be able to buy a newspaper to read. The fellow behind the counter looks at him and says, It's on the house. He says, you're having a special sale today? He says, don't you remember me? He looks at him like, no. He says, a number of years ago, you were running to catch a train, and there was a fellow, a beggar on the stairs saying, pencils for a quarter, pencils for a quarter. And you flipped me a quarter. And I said, mister, you forgot your pencil. And you turned back to me and you said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were a merchant. And I said to myself, if this Wall Street fellow thinks I'm a merchant, then I'm not some schlepper and beggar on the stairs. I can make something of myself. And he says, in the interim of these few years, I've opened up hundreds of concessions, newspaper stands in different subway stations. I'm a merchant. Someone believed in me. Ahavah, Rabah, Avtanu, Hashem Elokeinu. Hashem believes in us, and Hashem has empowered us. Dibur, Yadber Amim Tachtenu. Leadership. He's empowered us to believe in others, to love others, to be able to instill in all those around us this feeling of being worthwhile, this feeling of specialness, this feeling of love generates outward. How do we bring Geula? The Churban happened because of sinas chinam. The destruction happened because of baseless hatred. Ahavah Rabah is the counter to that. To believe that Hashem loves me, to believe that I am loved, and the ability to love others just for being created in the image of Hashem. And to be able to spread that love, and to be able to spread that belief in everyone's inherent goodness. To be marich ba'ahavah Rabah, the counter of the sinas Hashem, the counter of the hatred of Hashem. To focus all day on seeing and feeling and living Hashem's goodness to us. That's one aspect of what the 3 weeks are about. The 3 weeks are about Kol Rodfeh Yisigua Ben Amitzarim, as Yeshivat Shalom says. All those who run after her will catch her during these 3 weeks. Kol Rodfeh, note to Slom and Rebbe Yeshivat Shalom. Kol Rodfeh Hashem. Rodfeh divided into 2 words. All that seek Hashem will find her during these 3 weeks. It's a time of intimacy. It's a time of closeness. It's a time to tap into Menachem Av, the Father that has mercy. Perhaps the second understanding of Ahavah Rabah that has the ability to bring Geula is an interesting insight of the Ari HaKadosh, who says that all 6 Zechiros were told to remember 6 things every day. It's found at the end of the morning Shacharis. Remember Amalek, remember what Miriam said, remember Mamad Sinai, remember Mitzrayim, Shabbos. All 6 things are found in Ahavah Rabah. The Ahavah Rabah reminds us of fundamental aspects of our lives. Let's choose one for our purposes today. Zechiras Miriam, remember Miriam spoke Lashon Hara. Where is that hinted to in Ahavah Rabah? So notes the Arizal, it's hinted at in the words toward the end of Ahavah Rabah, Lehodos lecha uliachetcha be'ahava. Lehodos lecha, to give thanks to you. Again, notes the Lekach Valibov, Rav Shor. What is the connection between Lehodos lecha, to give thanks, and not speaking Lashon Hara? Okay, so one is speech, the other is speech. That's way too superficial. And he explains, the essence is Lehodos lecha. Do you know how you can counter not speaking Lashon Hara? Do you know how you can work on what comes out of your mouth? Instead of just working on the negative, don't speak Lashon Hara, you could focus in on the positive, on the midah of Lehodos lecha, to give thanks. And the core of being able to give thanks is to be able to see goodness. To be able to see the good found in every situation. Indeed, the Gemara tells us, you know what an Oreach Tov, a good guest, says? Thank you so much. You did so much for me. I appreciate how you made the chicken so nice and the salad, and you prepared everything so nicely. That's an Oreach Tov. He sees everything and he sees the good. You know what an Oreach Ra says, a bad guest says? Why should I thank you? You were doing this anyway, so I ate a little chicken, so I had a little salad. You were making it for yourselves anyway. In Areach Tov, a good guest, and we're all guests in Hashem's world, my friends, is able to see all the goodness that happens around us, to be able to pick up on the goodness, to be able to focus in on it. Indeed, the Sfas Emes explains the pasuk. Mi ha'isha chavet chaim, who is the person who loves life? Ohev yamim lirot tov, the lover of days who sees good. The answer is, Nitzar l'shon chameira, stop your mouth from speaking evil, right? Usasecha mitaber mirma, and your lips from speaking deceit and falsehood. Teaches the Sfas Emes the pasuk with a different punctuation. Mi ha'isha chavet chaim, who is the one who wants life? Who is the one who wants to live a life of value? Who's Ohev Yamim, who loves life? Who wants life? Who wants to love life? I'll tell you, it's 2 words. Lirot Tov, see good. And when you see good, the result will be indeed. Rashi Meir Silverberg Shlita in Sichoris Chaskut points out that this is the challenge that has ensued as a result of eating of the Eitz Hadat. That tree is called Eitz Hadat Tov Hara, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Before they ate of the tree, they saw everything as Tov, as good. Good existed on its own. The moment they ate from the tree, there became a mixture of Tov Hara, of good and evil together, where there was no clarity at all. And instead of automatically seeing good, one sees the negative. And indeed, there are many names, 7 to be exact, for the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. But of all the names, Sifoni, all the different names, Evan, we call it Yetzer Hara. Why? Because that is what the evil inclination is about. It's the Yetzer, the inclination that wants us to see everything as Ra, to complain about everything. The antidote to this is Lirot Tov. The Beis HaMikdash was a place that was called Tov. Eretz Yisrael, Yushalayim, Eretz Tov. Haaretz HaTovah, the good land. The Beis HaMikdash was a place where you were able to put on the rose-colored glasses and see goodness. The Churban, the destruction, brought that aspect of that mixture again of seeing good and evil mixed together. My friends, this is the challenge of Hodu Hashem Ki Tov Ki Lo Lam Chasto, to be able to thank Hashem Ki Tov because everything is good. Ki Lo Lam Chasto, even when the world is La'olam in a state of Helam, in a state of concealment, even when it doesn't look good, even when it doesn't feel good, it's all good. Kol Da'avid Rachmana. L'tav Avid, the Gemara tells us, whatever Hashem does, Rachmana Hashem, L'tav Avid, is good. Our job is to be able to train ourselves to be able to see the goodness. One of the things that I've suggested many times in my shiurim is to have on your refrigerator in your kitchen a white sheet of paper with a black dot in the center. And to remind yourself when you look at this paper, and you would ask somebody, go over to somebody and you say to them, what do you see on this paper? 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, I see a black dot. And you ask yourself, the whole paper, 95%, 98%, depending on how large the dot is pure white goodness. Why do you focus in on the one dot in the middle of the paper? And this exercise reminds us of our responsibility to see the good, Lirot Tov. This is so true in educating our children, the 3-to-1 rule, that for every 1 criticism you have to make sure to have at least 3 positive statements. We have to be able to catch our students, our children, our friends, those around us. Lirot Tov. See the goodness. Create a mindset of goodness. Create a mindset of appreciation. And when you see the goodness, you want to thank the person. You want to show appreciation for the person. That is the idea of lahodot lecha. Lahodot lecha, to give thanks, is intrinsically connected of Lirot Tov. When I'm able to see the good, I'm then able to appreciate all that the person does. Why do I need to focus in on what they don't do? Let's focus in on what they do. Let's build that feeling of connection, of camaraderie, of good spirit. This is that aspect. And hence we can understand when the Gemara says that why was the second base of Mikdash destroyed? They had Limud Torah, they had learning Torah, they even had chesed, they even had acts of kindness. Why was it destroyed? Baseless hatred. You can do chesed for others, you can do kindness for others, but not be able to build and see goodness. And to be blinded by building up the other person and being able to give to the other person. It's not just going through the motions to learn and to do and to give. It's to feel. It's to build. It's to create that understanding of lahodot lecha. As Jews, we are called Yehudim. The first word out of our mouths in the morning is moda ani, to give thanks. The 3 weeks is a time, obviously all year, but specifically the 3 weeks is a time to go out of our way, lahodos lecha liros tov, to walk around complimenting others, to walk around thanking others, to walk around building up others. This is the way to counter the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the sinas chinam, to find excuses for love, find excuses for building. And I'd like to end, and then we'll summarize with a beautiful Hasidic vort. Klal Yisrael, the prerequisite to be able to receive the Torah, the Chumash tells us, Vayichan sham Yisrael neged ahar. Literally, and the Jewish people encamped by the mountain. And we all know the famous Chazal, Vayichan beloshon yochid, in the singular, that everyone encamped together. Ki ish echad belev echad, as one person with one heart. Unity was the prerequisite for Torah. Unity is a prerequisite for the final redemption. There's a Hasidic idea that Vayichan is melashon chaim, finding favor. Vayichan sham Yisrael neged ahar, each person found favor in the other person's eyes. Each person went out of their way to compliment, to build. Liro tov lahodo lecha, to see the good and to thank. And that is what enabled Torah to be given. And my friends, in order to be able to bring the future redemption, we need to work. And Vayichan sham Yisrael, to be able to have that eye of Aaron HaKohen, whose yortzeit is Rosh Chodesh Av, the only yortzeit mentioned in the Torah. The Aaron HaKohen who was Meitiv et Haneros, literally who made the candles better, who made each and every person better, because he saw the Tov. He saw the inherent goodness in every person, and he brought out that inherent goodness. And that, my friends, is really our challenge during the 3 weeks, and particularly the 9 days. Ahavah Rabah, to love, to be able to give over that feeling of importance, of specialness, that importance of that every person is created in the image of Hashem, to feel our own sense of responsibility, that Hashem loves us, and that we are here to be able to create a better world, to create a more perfected world, between all elements, God, ourselves, and others around us. And one of the ways to do this is lahodo lecha, to give thanks to others, give thanks to Hashem, to show appreciation all day, and to look at everything from the aspect of good. All that Hashem does for me is good, all that others do with me is good. I'm able to focus on liro tov, to see the goodness. And in the schus of the liros tov, to see the goodness, we should all be able to Vayichan, to encamp, to have this aspect of unity, of building each other up, and in that schus be able to bring the Geula Shlema, the final redemption.
Yirachem aleichem v'yotziem mitzvah